Ciao, I'm Marianne Esposito.
And I'm Rose Faro.
And I'm Joe Faro.
Today on Ciao, Italia, cooking from Sicily, Catania style. Ciao, I'm Marianne Esposito. Welcome to Italy, and let's cook real Italian. Aren't they gorgeous? Swiss chard. I knew you said that. I'm in heaven. Think about how healthy this is. That's for you. Sundae sauce. All 20 regions of Italy are fabulous. And every time I do this, I think of my Nonna Galasso because she always made it this way. You want a Goldilocks dough, just right. Who doesn't like basil, especially in the summer? Obviously, you have to have pesto sauce at some point, right? I mean, I'm a cook. Why can't I try it? You're the best.
No, you're the best.
Funding for Ciao Italia was made possible by
Uncommon Flavors of Europe. From the mountains and pastures of Europe come Asiago PDO, Pecorino Romano PDO, and Spec Alto Adige PGI. 2 cheeses and a ham with traditional places of origin.
Behind every bite, centuries of tradition. Authentic European foods earn their marks of distinction.
Parmigiano Reggiano. 2 words, 3 natural ingredients, countless generations of Italian cheesemakers, 900 years of experience. Parmigiano Reggiano, the only Parmesan.
A little bit of Sicily is hiding in New Hampshire, thanks to a woman who knows that faraway region's cooking secrets. Meet Rose Faro, a good friend of mine, who's invited me nella cucina to help her prepare a Sicilian feast. You're invited too. So Rose, since we're both Sicilian, I'm glad that you decided to do 3 classic Sicilian recipes, but you told me that these are really particular to Catania.
The way they're made is Catania. Because let's say, for example, Palermo, they don't have the filled eggplant parmesan. They just do a more simple version.
Just with sauce.
Yeah, with sauce and cheese. Where the part from Catania, at least my town that's near Catania, we do it with the hard-boiled eggs and cheese in the filling.
So we are making 3 things at once. So you're leaving the skin on. I always leave the skin on. Do you want this like this?
No smaller.
No
That's
smaller.
Good.
Okay, good. All right. Yes. We have the agrodolce flavor of Sicily.
Yes.
So we're going to salt them, and you're going to let them sit for about what? An hour?
No, half
we
hour.
We haven't got an hour.
No, half hour, not even.
Okay,
but
half hour.
While I do that,
we can do something else.
Yes. So, Miriam, we're going to make a sauce for the eggplant parmesan, and it's a simple tomato sauce with basil.
Okay.
And it's probably a little bit different than what you're used to, but I put the tomatoes first, and I'm squishing them.
By hand?
Yeah, you could do it by a food processor, or you could do it.
But you know what? This is more authentic.
Yeah,
I remember my grandmother doing this.
Right.
This is how she made her Neapolitan
Right, and because
sauce.
it's chunky.
Yeah.
It's fine. That's what you want. You want a little chunky tomato sauce.
So you want to leave a little texture in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so we're just about ready to put it on.
You did that like a machine.
Well, I don't know about the machine. Okay, so I'm going to be putting the tomatoes in, and since my hand was already in there,
yeah, that's fine.
I'm going to
get all that in there.
Get all that in there.
Don't waste anything.
No. And the only thing I put in the very beginning is a clove of garlic.
But that's very interesting that you only use the whole clove because you're
it doesn't have to be that big.
You're going to take that out?
I'm taking that out when it's all ready.
Okay. Half hour, that's really going to reduce that sauce.
But see, I don't cook it too high a temperature, Miriam.
Right, low heat.
Yeah, so I don't want it to burn. I just want it to cook. And let's check on the asparagus again. And just let it cool.
How are we going to mush that? Are we going to mash it with a potato masher or something?
You could, but I like using my hands.
Okay,
It
good.
just-
What's next?
Well, we can start our lamb in the oven.
Okay.
And this is like stew lamb in,
Yeah, so
in
it's different-
chunks.
Yeah, so it's
in chunks, cut in.
It's a tougher cut.
Yes, it's a shoulder.
Shoulder cut. Okay.
But
good.
what I like about it is that there's bones.
Yeah, flavor.
Not all, but there's enough bones that it's going to give flavor
Great
to this
flavor.
to this dish.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing I do is I toss a little olive oil in it.
This is the olive oil from Catania.
Santa
Yeah.
Maria la Scala,
Santa
exactly.
Maria la Scala,
Yes.
okay.
Which is province is Catania.
Okay, so you
Okay.
really douse it with
So
olive
I'm just
oil.
going to just sprinkle olive oil over it.
Uh-huh.
And I can put a little sea salt over it.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to put it in a preheated and hot oven. The oven is probably going to be between 425 and 450, which is not normally
Yeah, it's
how
high.
you would cook
It's
it.
high.
Right.
So you're not adding any onions?
Not yet.
No garlic?
Not
That
yet.
all comes later.
This is later.
Okay.
Yes, it's in,
So where is this? Is this a family recipe?
it's a family recipe, but you will find similar to this recipe there in Sicily, in the Catania region.
In the Catania region.
Yeah, they do a
okay.
lot with lamb,
Yeah.
capretto.
Capretto, yes.
do capretto.
Yes, capretto.
And they
Okay.
do it in the oven if they can.
Yeah,
So,
this is a new way to do it. Usually you think of
Okay.
stew, you do it in a slow cooker or something, but this is good. So
okay,
that goes
and I'm
in
putting it
at 450?
at 450, 440.
Okay.
Okay, and
All right.
let me tell you, the reason I decided to do that temperature is there was a time when my mother used to cook this, and she did a really good job of it. It tasted delicious. And she used to complain that her oven was always hot. She didn't like her oven. She needed a new oven. Well, finally, we got her a new oven, and she would cook it at normal temperature, 350, 375. Well, it didn't taste as good. This
Yeah.
is how we decided, I think it's the temperature. It's
do,
not.
because I think it
Yes.
caramelizes the meat
Exactly.
more. Yeah.
It caramelizes it, and I keep putting the caramelized part
Turn it
bottom.
over. Yeah.
And then it caramelizes the other
These
section.
little tidbits
And the
about
same,
cooking are really
thing
important.
with the vegetables that you've got ready.
Yeah.
They're going to caramelize in there too.
Okay, what's
So-
next?
Okay,
I'm getting hungry.
you are.
Yeah.
So we're waiting for that.
Okay, that's
We're
going
waiting
to
for
take
this,
a while.
and it's almost there. Look at Marianne.
Yes, that's
We're
looking
almost
great.
there.
Yes, beautiful.
And as it is, there's still some chunks, so
you really
this
want
is a really good tool. I don't know what you would call it, but it's kind of like a
I call it
combination.
a wooden spatula.
All right, very good. But I don't use it for a spatula.
Yeah.
I use the flat part
Yeah.
to get to the bottom of the pan.
Uh-huh.
And you could use the side
Yeah.
to, as a squisher, if you want to
Now,
call
how
it a
thick
squisher.
do you want this to be?
I want it to be
Really thick.
thicker. So let's see if this is ready to squish.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we
Yeah.
got good hands, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's hot, but we have.
And I'm going to put it in a bowl. I'm going to
Mush this up.
mush it, whether it's this way, and in this, these are a little bit thinner, so this is probably easier, but if they were thicker, I could just pick them up and squish like this. So, and they come just as well. If you use the regular asparagus, the only thing is that you don't use the hard stems.
Yeah, you'd have to break
You
those off
always,
first,
yes,
yeah.
you always clean
Yeah.
and use
But the
these.
stems you could use for soup.
Yes.
Are you using fresh breadcrumb with this or dried?
Excuse me?
Are you using fresh
This
or
one
dried?
I use dry breadcrumb,
Okay.
but it's my own. Like if I have,
Thank God you said that. I
if
hate
I have
boxed
bread, no.
breadcrumbs.
If I have
No.
breadcrumbs left, bread rather left
Yeah,
over,
you make your own.
I dry it for a few days,
Yeah.
and then I grind it. Well, you're going to have to guess how much I'm doing it
I
because
mean, I always do that.
I do
you know,
this.
Quanto basta, as they say.
yes. So I put a
Yeah.
good amount of the cheese. Wait, we're not ready.
Not ready.
You're going to put more stuff. We're going to put
Okay.
a little bit, not a lot.
Breadcrumb.
A little bit of breadcrumb.
Okay.
And then we're going to get that parsley that you got ready for me.
Okay. Okay. Parsley.
Okay? So it's healthy.
Very. Yeah. Very.
So you're going to do this.
So no flour.
None.
So the
no
breadcrumbs will
flour.
hold this together.
Just a little breadcrumb, but mostly it's the cheese.
Did you add salt or because it's
Not
the
yet.
cheese?
That's why I did
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
because the cheese is a
salted.
salted cheese, so I am going to taste it first. If I need it, then I will add a little. But
Have you ever thought about adding ricotta to this?
no, I haven't, but
That's an idea.
yeah.
Because they make a lot of ricotta in Sicily.
Oh, they make great ricotta. Okay, it's looking like it should be at the finish line here. We're going to add some basil, a little salt and pepper.
Do you want the basil torn in big pieces or small?
Yeah, small pieces is fine.
Like this.
Yeah, and I'm going to add a little bit of salt, Marianne, because I did not salt it before.
Right. This is really understanding food because we know that basil, if you had fresh basil in your hands, the oils, they're just so perfumey. But if we had put this in at the beginning, this would
that's
all be
gone.
gone. All be gone.
Yeah.
So we don't want to destroy those oils. So that's why we're putting this in at the end.
So I'm going to put a layer because
Right.
I'm going to saute.
So this is not deep fried.
No, I
way.
don't want deep
No.
fried anything. I don't like deep frying.
Okay. You don't flatten it out at all
Nope,
or anything?
it
just
does
put
its
in.
own flattening.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put a layer, and then I'll wait until they get nice and golden on the bottom. Actually, browned is the better taste.
These look delicious.
They'll taste good too. Okay, so this is, I'm going to let them stay. You don't want to touch them.
touch.
No, you let them
Until
alone.
you see them browned around the edges.
Yeah, you're going to see that they're getting brown, and then you test one. You lift one just to make sure. I'm going to check the lamb. Miriam, do you think you could get me one of those spatulas, maybe the smaller one?
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, we can put it there. No, not yet.
No.
You see how they're not
Yes.
golden on the top? That's why I said it takes a while.
Okay, so not yet.
And this is at 450. You can see the edges.
Yeah, when they start to
Yes.
brown up like that.
They're ready to roll.
Gorgeous.
And for whatever reason, I turn them the way I pour them. So the first shall be first, and the last shall be last.
I like that.
There you go.
That's from the Bible.
No, it's the opposite on there, isn't it? And the last shall be
The
first.
last shall be first.
The browning is very important to the flavor. I think that's why the high temperature worked better than the lower temperature of the new oven. And now this is about another 4 or 5 minutes, and I will add the vegetables and have them caramelized. Yep, you just have enough caramelization that I can add my other ingredients and just enough fat. I don't have it over fatted like before. I have the potatoes, onions, and carrots ready, and I also tossed them in a little olive oil. We're going to have them be between, but they're also going to caramelize for 5 minutes or so. Okay, so I'm putting it back in that hot oven. Here we go. Very good.
Alrighty.
Okay, see how you're getting a little
Yeah.
caramelization?
Nice crusty.
And the lamb is nice and brown. So now I am going to put the sauce in.
And that's
again,
just the pureed
right now
tomatoes.
it's pureed tomatoes, and I did add a little bit of basil in there
Okay.
because in this case there's so many flavors. It's not just the basil
Right.
you're going to get, so it's okay if I put it ahead.
Now you don't cover this at all.
I do not.
No.
I like the caramelization, so I add water, but I add water a little at a time. The caramelization adds to the flavor.
Right.
So you're
Because
going
if
to
you-
always have a layer that is not immersed in the liquid.
Yeah. Now how much more time do you think this is going to take?
Probably another half hour to an hour.
Okay.
It has to not only thicken, it has to flavor. And everything has to start getting tender.
Yeah.
Very good.
Alrighty.
Okay, see how you're getting them? Okay, so first off, I'm going to take the garlic and remove it. We don't need it for this recipe. We just needed it for flavor. That's it.
Now, you know, in
Okay.
other recipes, people would have minced the garlic.
Yes.
And maybe included onions, but that's
Right.
not your
No,
version.
This is not our region.
Yeah.
And My region is the Catania area of Sicily, okay? And in this area of Sicily, we don't, first of all, dip it in anything.
No
we just
flour.
fry them, right?
Right.
And then we layer it and put filling in it. This is what's different. This is it. We just fry the eggplant. And then we have the hard-boiled eggs. We have the cut-up pieces of cheese. Provolone you can have. You can have some Emmental. And then you have the grated Parmesan. Real
Parmigiano
good
Reggiano.
Parmesan, and fresh grated is best. Okay?
Okay.
And the same thing, we're going to just keep layering the same ingredients. And at the end, I'm going to have a little bit of sauce, a little bit of Parmesan on top. But the thing that makes it different from that area, besides being stuffed, is that I put a crust on it. I beat up some eggs, and I'll put it over the sauce and the cheese, and it makes like a lasagna crust. It's
See,
really
now that's
beautiful.
very different.
Yes.
That's very
Yeah.
different.
So we'll
Okay.
show you.
All right.
All right. So we're starting to layer, and this is the sauce that we previously made. It's just a plain tomato sauce with basil.
And it's thickened beautifully.
And it thickened, right? So I'm going to take, I like this spoon. It's a medium, like serving spoon.
Yeah.
And I'm going to, first off, put some in the bottom. And the back of that spoon is really good
Just
to
for
spread
spreading it. So you're just putting a very,
Oh,
very
thin. That's why I didn't want
Yeah.
liquid. I wanted to stay where I put it.
Right,
Okay?
exactly.
So this is it for my first layer.
And you see
And-
how well browned those are.
Yes, it has to be nice and
Yeah.
brown, nice and cooked. And, okay, so now we've got the eggplant layer. My next layer is going to be, I'll cut up one egg, and I'm going to put chunks of it. It's hard-boiled.
Now, where do you think this idea came from, using the eggs?
I don't know. I just know the end result is good. So
That's a good answer.
when in doubt, do it the way they've done it.
The way they've done it. And this is your mother did it this way.
Yes, and that region. It's not just my mother.
Yeah.
The people in that, you could go to Sicily now and you'll find a lot of stuff with these ingredients in the middle. Like even
yeah.
if you make a lasagna, they'll put hard-boiled eggs and cheeses in the middle.
In
So-
Fasumagro.
Yeah,
too.
Fasumagro is
Fasumagro is
awesome.
awesome.
Okay, so now
Yeah.
I'm going to put a little bit of my provolone.
Would I shock you if I told you that my mother also put raisins and pine nuts in
Not
hers?
at all, because I make caponata with raisins and pine nuts.
But she put it in the eggplant dish.
Yep.
Yeah.
Why not?
Because you're using the products from the region.
Yes.
Pine nuts
Yep.
and raisins, of course, from
Okay,
grapes.
so I have a layer
Beautiful.
of the cheeses
Yeah.
and a layer of the egg
Okay.
that is already cut up. Now I'm going to
A little more
take
sauce.
the sauce. Now this is where you don't want it to be thin, because I'm going to place it,
Dabs of it.
dabs of it. And then I'm going to take the back of it
Yeah.
and just kind of spread it in between.
Yeah.
See it? The cheese. And then,
So good Parmigiano Reggiano.
right.
DOP.
That's right.
Right, right.
The real McCoy. Then we'll start again.
Make another, and you continue
Another
making,
layer,
continue
same.
making these layers.
Probably going to be 4 layers. Hopefully I have enough
Do
eggplant
you
for
cover
4
this
layers.
when you bake it in the oven?
No.
You want that
No,
crust.
no.
Yeah.
You want it crusted.
So you want that egg on it. So how
Yes.
long does this take to bake?
35 minutes in a 375 oven.
Then do you let it set up for a few minutes before you cut into it?
Oh, you
So
cool
that it will cut
you Cool
nicely.
it. I cool it completely.
Okay, so you serve it at room
Room
temperature?
temperature is perfect.
All right.
Yeah. Even if your village is a few kilometers away, they're going to make it their
Differently.
way. The way that they've been taught, the way that they've always had it.
And I think
so
that-
it's their own traditions.
Yeah, and I think that comes from the fact that you have to think about Sicily in the past, where a lot of these towns were isolated
That's
from
right.
one another.
That's
And
right.
so they were so localized that they used what they had right there.
Yep.
So that's why there's a difference in these recipes. If you can call them recipes, these are really things that just come from
They just
what
come
you
from
had.
doing.
What you had. Yeah.
then, ta-da,
Ta-da!
we'll put the egg that I've got beaten up already, just eggs, nothing else in them. And then this one right here probably is gonna, we'll try to cover the whole thing with the egg over the cheese.
What do you bake? What temperature are you baking this at?
I'm baking it at 375 for about 35 minutes.
Rose, this looks absolutely fantastic.
I think it's gonna be
You know
good.
what I'm thinking? It's a great party dish. Like if you were
It
having
is.
6 to 8 people for dinner.
I think it'll be great.
And the great thing about this is that we've got this as our second course, the secundo, and then we've got, isn't Joe bringing pasta?
He should be here any
He should
minute.
be here any minute. Okay.
He
well,
is
everybody.
Hey,
Joe.
right on
Marianne,
time.
how are you?
Good. Mwah. Mwah.
So wonderful
Oh,
to see you. Hi, Mom.
Hi, honey. How are you?
Nice to see you.
Oh,
What are you
gosh.
guys doing? You're cooking all day. I brought you some presents.
Okay.
Want to show you what I brought you?
Yeah, I see you came
Yes.
just in time for lunch.
I did. I
Yeah.
brought you some presents. Look at this ciabattoni.
Wow.
Look at this. Huh?
Oh, my God.
Right
that's
out of the stone oven.
gorgeous.
Okay. And then, listen, my mother instructed me, she wants fresh rigatoni. Okay?
And who could do that
I
better
said,
than you?
no penne, no, it's fresh rigatoni.
Rigatoni.
So you-
So I brought
Oh, boy.
some Tuscan Market fresh rigatoni.
Beautiful.
Okay, we should cook it. Looks like we've got some sauce to put on it, right?
Yeah, we're
I
gonna,
love it.
Okay, that's going to be our
Fantastic.
primo.
That's for the primo.
That's
right.
our primo. Okay, so should we cook the pasta?
Let's cook some
While
pasta.
she's doing that?
I love it.
All right, let's go.
I'm hungry, actually.
It's ready to be cooked.
Fantastic.
What is the best way to cook pasta?
Al dente.
You got it.
Al dente.
And I mean firmer than what we eat here.
Yeah, definitely. I love pasta al dente. I mean, this is 0 flour, a little semolina,
Yeah.
some whole egg, little olive oil, some sea salt. I mean, it's really, really rustic pasta.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful. Look at this.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this.
And this is just one of the varieties that you make, right?
We make so many pastas.
Yeah.
We make so many.
This
I
is
love
going to go
pasta.
great with the lamb.
This is going to be perfect with
Yeah,
the lamb. In
yeah.
fact, I was specifically instructed to bring only this
Only
for the
rigatoni.
lamb.
Okay.
Don't be creative, she said.
Okay.
Just bring me my rigatoni. That's
Okay,
what
so
she said.
let's get it in there so
let's
we
do
can
it.
eat.
Let's do it. We're going to put some pasta in here. Okay. This isn't going to take too long to cook, actually,
No,
to be
because
honest.
it's fresh. So, Joe, I know that you are the pasta king, but how did you get started in this?
We started making pasta in the attic of my family's corner bakery in Haverhill, Massachusetts, believe it or not.
So pasta came from being in the bakery business?
Yes, it did. Absolutely. Well, you know what? We're very passionate about food. You know, I mean, you spent a little time with my mother. You met my dad. I
Yeah.
mean, they're, right from Sicily. And, a Sicilian immigrant family is all about food, family, and friends.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Pasta is cooked al dente perfectly.
Oh, fantastic.
And it goes right into
Look
that
at how
beautiful
beautiful that is.
sauce.
Look at that. That is fantastic.
Wow.
So, Marianne, this dish, this lamb, the reason it's really good is because you get the primo
Yeah.
and the
The
secondo.
secondo, yeah.
Right. The primo, you have the pasta dish, but the sauce is ready. You don't have to think of another way of making it.
That's right. And the sauce
beautiful.
is clinging to that pasta.
That's
beautifully.
why it's
This is my
really-
favorite
That's
chef.
why it's
Oh, of course
You
she
know
is.
who's my favorite chef right here? Rose Faro.
Yeah, Rose Farrow.
that's why it's rigatoni.
Yeah.
Because it
can
clings
cling
to the sauce.
That was a good choice for,
Yep.
for a
A
shortcut
very
of
clear
pasta.
choice. Yes.
All right. This
Okay,
looks good
we
enough,
are
Rose.
good.
I'm ready.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna take it out there.
You take this.
I take this. Okay,
I'll
fantastic.
take this.
And
Let's
Let's
eat.
we'll
eat.
take this. Nice bread.
Wow.
What a loaf of bread, huh?
What a loaf of bread.
This is love. Look at this
Gorgeous,
bread.
I'll say.
Absolutely fantastic.
And Rose, today you taught me so much about the cooking of Catania. Let's tell everybody what you made.
Well, we started with asparagus fritters, poppetti di spargi, and then we did an eggplant parmesan, and finally we did a lamb in the oven, agnello a forno, which takes care of the primo. The sauce is for the pasta, and secondo we have the meat and all the vegetables.
Rose, thank you so much for having me in your kitchen today and teaching me so much about the food of Catania.
You're very welcome.
I really learned a lot. And Joe, you keep carrying on that tradition that your mom
Sure
and
will.
dad taught you. And until I see you nella cucina again, I'm Marianne Esposito.
I'm Rose Faro.
And I'm Joe Faro.
Ciao.
Marianne shares the secrets of 3 generations of Italian cooks with Ciao Italia Family Classics.
Filled with over 200 authentic recipes from Marianne, her mother, and grandmothers, this fully illustrated cookbook is available wherever books are sold and on the web. Learn more about the culture and cuisine of Italy's many regions and prepare many of their unique recipes by visiting Marianne at her website, ciaoitalia.com. Funding for Ciao Italia was made possible by
Uncommon flavors of Europe. From the mountains and pastures of Europe come Asiago PDO, Pecorino Romano PDO, and Speck Alto Adige PGI. 2 cheeses and a ham with traditional places of origin.
Behind every bite, centuries of tradition. Authentic European foods earn their marks of distinction.
Parmigiano Reggiano. 2 words, 3 natural ingredients, countless generations of Italian cheesemakers, 900 years of experience. Parmigiano Reggiano, the only Parmesan.